Good morning, and happy Cinco de Mayo. Oh, I just realized I should have offered a happy Kentucky Derby Day yesterday, and that completely slipped my mind. So we're so engaged here that we lose touch with all the great things that are going on outside. But we're so glad you're here, and welcome to day. It is now day 3. I'm sure of that. Day 3 of our 2024 Educational Forum. And again, we are just thrilled that we've had over 850 folks who have joined us over the last 3 days here in this room, as well as throughout the world. So thank you all so much for being with us. I'm Newton Guerin, IWMF President and CEO, and on behalf of all of us at the IWMF, thank you all again for being here and participating, and I hope it's been a tremendous experience for you. It certainly has been for me, and I hope you share that same view. Once again, a special thank you to all of our sponsors, BeiGene, Selectar Biosciences, Pharmacyclics, Johnson & Johnson, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Without them, with them, let's just be forward thinking. With them, we've been in a position to really put on what I think is a world-class event, and at a very nice facility, and have good food and good fellowship, and so we're certainly appreciative of their not only financial support but being here with us, over the course of the last 3 days. So now it is my really honor to introduce someone who probably, here again, does not need an introduction, Laurie Rude Betts. Laurie, for the few of you who may not know Laurie, she is the founder of the Ben Rude Heritage Society, and she's with us today to tell us a very special story. So, Laurie.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to be here with all of you today, and I want to offer my apologies to those of you for whom this is not your first forum, because I have been in front of you year after year after year, and I always say that having attended forums since 1997, I've only missed one in-person forum since then. Ben was diagnosed in 1996. Arnie had a support group meeting in Alexandria, Virginia, I believe it was, in 1996, and Ben didn't know he had Waldenstrom's at that point, and so we didn't attend that one. We attended the next one in Alexandria. And so I go way back, and I love to tell people that I have believed for many years that if you have to have cancer, that this is the one to have. And so I welcome all of you here, and being probably among the most senior attendees here, I would like to start by saying that, as I mentioned the other night, this is an extraordinary organization, and I think all of you have the sense of that. And I am so appreciative of Newton's work as he has led the foundation forward after many, many years of a volunteer-only organization. And so I would like to ask you with me to recognize Newton and the wonderful staff that supports him, and particularly the board members who volunteer their time, and many of them do a great deal of work every day for the foundation. Let's give them a hand. One of the messages I deliver most every year is that Ben was someone that truly made lemonade from the lemon of getting WM because he got involved. And I mentioned those board members. And there are many, many volunteers out there that I'm sure you come in contact with. Some of you come in contact with them every day. And they, I believe, have also discovered that, as Ben said, when you help others, you enhance your own life. And I think that it's important that we not feel like victims of cancer, that instead you feel empowered by it to broaden your life and make a different life for yourself in many cases. So as you go through life, I encourage you to think about, what can I do that will get me out of my head and have all of that energy I'm devoting to thinking about my cancer and maybe thinking about how I can serve others. And one of the ways you can do that, and I'm here to represent it, is by becoming part of the Ben Root Heritage Society. And we're here today to recognize those who have included the IWMF in their estate planning. It was my very great pleasure to be informed in 2008. Newton calls me the founder, but actually I'm the figurehead. The board in 2008 decided to name the heritage effort for Ben, because that would be very like Ben to want to be a part of something like that. And in that time, there have been 170 members who have been a part of the Heritage Society. Over 4 million has been received in 45 bequests that have been realized, and that $4 million has been used well by the foundation. And we have commitments for $12 million. And the gifts range from $100 to $1 million. So no opportunity is too small that you could take to become part of this. And as Carl calls it, it's paying forward. Because you are here, you're representing those who are in the WM community. By the way, Ben, who did not die of Waldenstrom's, he died of another deadly lymphoma, would want me to say that by being here, you are taking action. You are becoming better informed. And so it's important to feel in many ways part of the foundation. And just remember that every single thing you do for the foundation is a gift. There are various ways to be giving your future monies to the foundation. Of course, you can designate the IWMF in your will and your trust, but as is pointed out to me, really easy ways to become part of it is to designate the IWMF as a beneficiary in your IRA, your 401k, your 403b, profit-sharing plan or tax-deferred plan, and designating the IWMF in your beneficiary of life insurance is a really easy way. And some of the ones that I've mentioned, particularly the life insurance all you have to do is call up your agent and say, please send me the paperwork. I'd like to make my cancer foundation a beneficiary of that. So it's real easy. Also, speak to any member of the staff or the board today. They could probably get you started, and Nat is in charge of all that, and I'm sure that Newton and others would be happy to talk to you about that. I'd also like to mention that we have a number of members that have joined the society since January of 2023 up through this date. And I'd like to ask any of those that are here, and I know there are some, would you please stand so we can see who you are? You're the new members. Anybody here? There. And Jennifer just stood. Jennifer's been a friend from the beginning. And as I say, coming here every year is like Old Home Week, because we always love to catch up. And there are many of us who have known each other for a really long time. While we're doing that, I'd like to ask other members who didn't just join, but have been part of the Ben Root Heritage Society, if they would stand. Newton's going to talk to you a little bit more about the easy ways that you can become financially part of the IWMF. But I want to say I hope you all have a wonderful year, and I look forward to seeing you again next.
Thank you, Laurie. That was just incredible, and you mean so much to this organization, and all of the folks that have taken that step forward to pay it forward, to join and participate in the Ben Root Heritage Society. We certainly appreciate it, and I think you can tell by everything that we've heard this week that your investment, your gifts will be very wise investments. So thank you all. The only thing that I would like to add to Laurie's comments is that we have continued our partnership with Free Will. Free Will is an online resource that provides all kinds of information about estate planning. Can provide support, can answer your questions, and also can provide an opportunity, if you're so inclined, to complete a will online and designate the IWMF or any organization that you may choose as a beneficiary. So if you haven't experienced Free Will, I just would encourage you to check it out on IWMF.com. So thank you for that. So now I'd like to call on Carl Harrington back to the stage. Carl is, as you know, the vice chair for fundraising for the IWMF, and he and I are going to talk with you a little bit about the new Accelerate the Cure campaign. So, Carl, step right up. On February the 29th, Leap Year Day, the IWMF announced the new Accelerate the Cure campaign, and it is a 5-year campaign with a goal to raise over $25 million. And the real intent here is the money that is generated will be used to support our ongoing information, education, and support programs, but also allow us to continue to expand our investment in research and scientific discovery to ultimately bring us to better treatments and ultimately to a cure, as we heard about yesterday from so many folks. So there's a little brochure on your table, so I would encourage you to take a look at that, take it home, check it out, and it I think will give you some details that Carl and I may not capture today. So, Carl, I'll move over and try not to fall off the stage.
Okay. Well, that would be exciting.
Yeah, that would be.
Okay, so we're doing a tag team match, and I tried to get Newton to dress like that, but I couldn't convince him to do it, so we're dressed like this. But you can imagine us as a wrestling tag team match, okay? So he's clicking because that's beyond my capabilities. Go ahead and click. So in 1943, Dr. Waldenstrom first discovered our disease. Progress was rapid. Go ahead.
Now just wrap it.
In 2002, a mere 59 years later, we defined what WM was. Now, in between, Arnie Smoko did start the IWMF in 1994, and in 2000, we did start fundraising. And that fundraising actually contributed to all the things that will happen, but it only took us 59 years to figure out what our disease was, to name it, identify it. We've been progressing slightly faster since then. In 2011, you heard from Dr. Trian about the discovery of MYD88, which we all know about, which controls a druggable pathway, which is a huge deal for us. And in 2012, this is important. We stopped talking about this for some reason, but in 2012, there was the first breakthrough therapy designation for WM. This was in all of cancer, not just blood cancer, all of cancer. It was a new designation by the FDA to accelerate development of a product. And based upon 63 brave people in California and in New York and in Boston who were part of the first ibrutinib trial, we received this breakthrough therapy, actually Dr. Trian did, for ibrutinib, which meant in 3 short years is that short in product development time for drugs, we were approved by FDA. You saw those things that Ansel and Trian were doing where we used to be the kid who borrowed other people's drugs. We got our own. And in 2021, we got a second one. Now, there are over 7,000 rare diseases in the United States. We're one of them, and fewer than 10% have an FDA-approved drug. We've got 2. And that's because of the research we've done, we've funded, and you've donated the money to make it possible.
So really, I think the framework of the Accelerate the Cure campaign is really going to be directed to 3 what we have identified as opportunity funds, or 3 major strategic directions and areas of focus of the IWMF and the work that we'll be doing over the next 5 years. And those 3 are, and you really heard about all of them yesterday, so I really will not go into any detail, but the overall research portfolio, the 5 categories of research grants that the IWMF is currently funding. The second is the WMNet, the Multi-Institutional Clinical Trials Network that Dr. Castillo talked about yesterday. And then the last, which you probably difficult to read on this slide, but the last has to do with the young investigators or the next generation researchers. And we actually had an opportunity yesterday to hear from 2 of them, and that we're currently funding, and I know that you all would agree with me that they are so impressive, they're brilliant, and I think the message that we can take away is that if we continue to engage young investigators of that quality, that the future for WM research is in really, really great hands. So, Carl?
So the first one is that research portfolio. This is really about the roadmap and the 5 pillars that we talked to you about yesterday. And the way we do this now is, it used to be that they would send in proposals to the office, and we'd scramble around and try to figure out, well, is that worth funding? And we would always do it whenever they showed up. And we'd always had the opposite of a bird in the hand. We were afraid that the bird in the bush was worth more than the bird in the hand because we didn't know what was coming next. So we redid that to do an RFP process where everything comes in once, and then we get not usins, we get the smartest researchers in the world to evaluate each of the proposals, rank them according to NIH criteria, and then we choose from the best of the best around the globe.
And the WMNet, as I mentioned, Dr. Castillo really, I think, gave us a really solid, overview and explanation of that particular program. That is the single largest commitment to a research project that the IWMF has made in the history of the organization. $2.5 million over 5 years, and it's also our first really significant investment in science beyond clinical trials, beyond basic science. So this is our really first investment in clinical, kinds of research. So we're very excited about it, very optimistic about it, and we believe that it has the opportunity to have some very short-term, paybacks and results, and that we'll see things coming out of those trials that will have an impact hopefully in the next year or two, or maybe even sooner. So we're just thrilled to be part of that, and I know you are as well.
And the last one, before I talk about the last one, remember yesterday we also talked about the second Hamburg Family Challenge grant for raising another $100,000 for the WMNet program. So don't forget about that. We get that $100,000 only if you give us $100,000. But also, I wanted to talk, we also need to have a new generation of the brightest minds in the world, and you saw 2 examples yesterday. And it's not true that I chose the one from Italy, because I've been trying to get my wife to go to Sicily for years. But hopefully that will work. But beyond that, we're really trying to get, all of our research grants now are going to around the globe, and they're going to new institutions and to new people that have never been involved in WM before, and that means a lot to all of us and our hope for a cure.
So let's take a minute to see a quick video. Dr. Treon was asked recently about his thoughts about the potential for a cure.
Is there a hope for a cure? Well, I have to tell you, when I first started working in Waldenstrom some 27 years ago now, I used to answer this in a very qualified way, and it was because we knew very little about the biology of the disease. Today I have a very different take on whether we can achieve a cure, and that's because of all the insights we now have into the genomics and biology of Waldenstrom's. Back in 2011, as many of you know, we discovered the MYD88 mutation. This provided us with a roadmap for understanding how the disease is able to grow and expand. This also allowed us the opportunity to study the signaling pathways associated with mutated MYD88. And in a relatively short period of time, we've been able to now define most of the circuitry related to mutated MYD88 signaling. This has also given us the opportunity to partner with some tremendous people who work in medicinal chemistry to help find drugs that can actually target various components of MYD88 signaling. Many of you know this has already resulted in improved therapies. Among these are the BTK inhibitors, which were discovered because of what we know about MYD88 signaling. And this led to the approval of ibrutinib and zanubrutinib, and I'm hoping that many other BTK inhibitors will follow. But on top of all this, we also have other targets that are very important in Waldenstrom's. The IWMF has been instrumental in helping us find these. These include HCK in Iraq. You'll be hearing more about these at the Ed Forum. But these are targets that are high value targets because they promise us the opportunity to do a better job at shutting down the signaling associated with mutated MYD88. And at the end of the day, do I believe there's a cure in sight? Absolutely. Because when we find the way to shut down MYD88 signaling, we will find that cure.
Okay, so how many people in this room want to find a cure? Okay, good. All of your hands work. We're trying to raise $25 million over the next 5 years. The very first time we had a fundraising program was before my time. Laurie will remember this. But our program back then was to raise $5 million in 5 years. We want to raise $25 million in 5 years. So what I want you to do is look at the person to your left, look at the person to your right, look at the person behind you, or in front of you, whatever. And now look at yourself, because we're expecting 100% giving. There's not very many of us. There's 1,500 a year. We get zero money from the government. We get some money from pharma, as you saw, but 85 or 90% of the money we get are from us. So we need 100% of you giving more, and ideally we need all of you giving more than you've been giving. So talk to us, talk to Newton, talk to Annette about major investment opportunities, because together we can accelerate the cure, get rid of this disease. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl.
No help?